Welcome back to the DFS Vet Shop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Funny story. I gotta tell you about this. All right, so, I was a misguided youth growing up. Got my fair share of skirmishes with the law. Got into a little trouble a couple of times, to be modest, right? So, when I was about maybe 18, 19, get in trouble, and I ended up going to this boot camp for the misguided teens, the guys like myself who were doing a little bit of too much of the ruckus and the mischief, right? So we go to this prison boot camp, and there I live in South Carolina. It's a very country place. If you're from up north and you think everybody down south is slow, blah blah blah, blah whatever, and so I met this young dude, man, this young little white dude, man, really cool cat. His name was William Henderson or something. So I called him Billy Ho, right? Just because he could play basketball pretty well. If you are familiar with the movie White Man Can't Jump, he was like that. And I was pretty good at playing basketball. We were a really good team. That was my dude, right? And on this prison camp, this little boot camp, like the gold on the camp was cigarettes because we were on one side as youth, and the other side of the prison were like hardened criminals, and we couldn't get to us, but they used them to like scare us. If you keep playing, you're gonna go over there, type shit. But we were cool with the guys. Plus, we was little young thugs anyway, so they would always like throw us cigarettes over the fence. So we would sell them our stamped envelopes. We weren't writing anybody. We didn't care for the cigarettes. So that was like the gold on the prison yard or the boot camp. It was the cigarettes. And it's funny as fuck because you would get in trouble if you got caught smoking. There was like military personnel that kind of ran the boot camp for us or over us, and if you got caught smoking, you were in trouble. And I remember we'd be playing cards, playing spades, gambling for the cigarettes and shit. And me and Billy were really tight, really cool, but he was a little younger than me, and he was very impressionable. Really cool guy, but very impressionable. And I remember we would talk about scenarios, what we would do if we got caught smoking. If they came in and it was like, everybody stand up by your bunks, and they would like smell your fingers, right? And I was like, hey, Billy. Well, see, Billy was a genius though, because we didn't have lighters. So the way that Billy would light our cigarettes is he would get two pieces of lead and some tissue from the pencils, and he would put it into the socket and kind of like pop the socket to get that flame so we could light our cigarettes. And he did it a lot. And this one particular time, uh, we got some cigarettes to smoke or whatever, and he goes in and he's popping the socket, and when he does something funny, something he's never done before, and this like black ring like shoots all around to every socket in the dorm room, and it was an open war like a military style. So it's this big explosion, and we still trying to smoke the cigarette real quick. So then all of the military and the COs rush in there and like somebody they're smoking. Everybody, line up by your bunk. And just before this, I had been telling them while we were playing spades, man, look, man, if they come in here and want to smell your fingers, I'm telling you, y'all should put your fingers up your asses. Because if you put your fingers up your asses, they ain't gonna smell the smoke. They gonna smell the shit. So it would behoove you if we get raided for y'all to go ahead and hurry up and stick y'all fingers up y'all ass. All right. And I was a jokester, so I was just bullshitting. Like that's just the way I am. I'm a funny cat, I think, and I like to make jokes, right? So I'm like, y'all stick your fingers up your ass. If they come up here, fingers up your ass. I'm telling you, that's the only way to do it. That's the best way to get it done. So he pops the socket, everything explodes, and it's crazy as fuck. And so all the SEALs they rush in, they're like, oh no, they're smoking, or whatever. And and stand by your bunks, everybody by your bunks. So we all line up by your bunks. They had hands up. Everybody put their hands up. Now I hadn't hit the cigarette yet. I hadn't got to hit it. Just a few of them did. So they walking by, and the sergeant is like smelling their hands, walking by. He's smelling that, walking by. You been smoking, son. Fall out of line. Drop me again. So he's down there doing push-ups. Next guy, he's like, mm. Next guy, smoking too. Fall and get out of line. Those big guys doing push-ups and shit, and we all gonna make us run laps anyway. So they get by Billy's bunk, and he gets to Billy, smell Billy's hand. Son, Your fingers smell like shit. Get out of line. Fucking Billy Howard stuck his fingers up his ass, and we still had to run laps. Funny fucking story, bro. That's my dude. Stuck his fingers up his ass. This has been your DFS Jerusalem already. Man, just got off of the line with a lot of different cats, but 4 different cats. We are assembling. We have assembled the DFS Sweatshop Tech Squad, and what these guys are doing, they are in the process, in the coding process of bringing you top-notch tools to the website. I'm talking about spreadsheets, optimizers, uh, forums to chat where we can really dig in, a very secure login system where it's going to be kind of like Facebook. I'm talking about these cats believe in me, believe in the brand, and we are all working to be the very best DFS site hands down in history, and I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited. It's been a very eventful and what's the word when you're accomplishing? I feel so accomplished that we were able to get a lot of stuff done as we are in the we're still in the incubation phase, man. Let's not get it twisted. The site went live December 2nd, and already like we're fucking the best indie DFS, team out already. And it's all your fault, man. It's because of the people on Facebook, the Facebook VIP. It's because of the paid subscribers and their VIP situation. It's because of the guys on Twitter. It's because of people like the big homie who had an excellent, awesome night tonight, and that's why he is the king of the DFS sweatshop. It is none other. Mm, it was none other than the big homie. Let me find him. It's my dude right here, Frank Langelo, at Frank Langelo, the big homie. He went out, tweeted me, "Hey man, I stacked just like you told me to. I owe you and your wife dinner the next time you're in New York. We ain't no cheap dates. I like BLT steak. Let's get it in." Dude took 8th place, 48th place, 390th place, 1,003rd place, 1,498th place in the NBA 500K 4-point play. Awesome. He stacked just like we talked about, and he used probably the same stack and just mixed and matched, and he ended up from that to the $20 buy-in, taking home almost $3,000. Awesome night for you. And tonight, Big Frank, you are the king of the DFS Red Shop. I shall crown you on Twitter as soon as this show is over. Let's go ahead and let's get the logo up. Let's get the logo flying high, man, because we deserve it. We deserve it here at the DFS Sweatshop because we're working hard for you, man. We're working hard for the team. That's what we do. I mean, that is what we do here. Let's go ahead and jump into the feature for players of the night. These are the most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS Sweatshop, on Facebook, on Twitter, on the website. These are the guys we had a lot to say, whether it was good or it was bad. So before we jump into that, I'm gonna let you know why we're skipping a part of the show that we normally talk about. Is my core four is because like just like Frank Angelo can tell you, on these smaller slates, there's no core four. We don't cherry pick plays. We stack offenses. We find the point totals and the offenses that we like, or the point totals in the offenses we like, and we stack the shit out of those. That's how we do it. So let's go ahead and jump into that feature four. We're gonna start with the Who Dat scoring all them points over there, player tonight. That's going to go to Tyson Chandler, 4.9K, 22% in ownership. Went out and scored 40.25 DraftKings points. Now, Tyson Chandler has had his bumps and bruises along the NBA season so far, but we said, hey man, this guy's probably going to have a really good game. Going up against his old team, the Dallas Mavericks, and he just did just that, man. 40.25 DraftKings points. Excellent game from Tyson Chandler. If you had him at 4.9K, getting almost 10x value for you, that was definitely enough to help you get to the cash line. The next player we're going to talk about is the how did I miss that player of the night? And this goes especially for me because I had this guy nowhere. He was 17% owned On a 5-game slate, that is a really good percentage to have a guy at. 6K in salary, goes out and scores 43.25 DraftKings points. We're talking about none other than Paul Gasol. Excellent game we saw from him, and that's why he is the how did I miss that player tonight. The next guy we're going to talk about is going to be the heat check player tonight. Now, this isn't the highest salaried guy. This isn't even the guy that scored the most points on the night. This is a dude that just went out and fucking balled harder than everybody. We're talking about Tyreke Evans at 4.2K, 19% in ownership, goes out and scores 48.5 DraftKings points, finished, I believe, second amongst all DraftKings scorers, first amongst everybody on that main slate. That's why you tonight, Tyreke Evans, get the salute. You're the heat check player tonight. Call me. Let's talk about it. You the man. Thank you for what you did for the DFS community today, because a lot of us were on you, especially here in the sweatshop. I got the tweet. What do? Dougie McBuckets or Tyreke Evans? It was a no-brainer, bro. Fuck Dougie McBuckets. Dude is fucking dead to me. Tyreke Evans, you the man. Heat check player tonight goes to you. Now, we gotta talk about that one motherfucker. And this kind of pains me because, be real. Be real. Check past previous pods, man. I am this guy's biggest supporter. Nobody has fought for this guy more than me. And that's why it hurts so bad for me to crown this chump ass motherfucker, this old snowflake ass motherfucker, as the snowflake of the night. We're talking about you, Reggie. Reggie Jackson, get your shit together. Because tonight, you a motherfucking snowflake with your old snowflake ass. Do you know what a piston is? Do you know what a piston is? Them shits move fast. Them shits move cars. Piston, heat, it implies heat, being hot with your snowflake ass. You was cold as fuck. And you've been that way for the longest. I ain't fucking with you no more because you a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass, 18% ownership, 6.9K. The price is too high on you. You go out and you bring us 22 funky ass DraftKings points. Come on, man. You a motherfucking snowflake, man, and I ain't gonna roster your ass again until the price get down to about 5.2K. Then I can look at you. But tonight, you a motherfucking snowflake. Let's go and get on with the rest of the show. Now, normally, what we would do is just go ahead and jump into my very best DraftKings lineup. But we've got a huge slate tonight, and I played so light that was just able to double my buy-in, enter the $3 late tournament and a $1 late tournament. It was able to double my buy-in, made $11 off of 8 that I put in. Really didn't have a chance to, as I had to work tonight. Really didn't have a chance to sit down and hammer out a lot of lineups. Was doing a lot of research to get those spreadsheets out for you and get the information out to you. Plus, this was a stack slate, so it's not really too much to show you. Just stack. That's what we do on the stack slates. But now tomorrow, we are jumping into the core 4. We're definitely gonna have a core 4, and I can assure you, tomorrow is gonna be a really, really nice night for everyone that pays attention inside the DFS sweatshop. Let's go ahead as the train rolls behind me. Let's go ahead and jump into the player pricing for tomorrow's slate. Let's go ahead and pull that up here. And you know, I'm gonna set it up just so you can take a look at it, because we know we've got the 9 games tomorrow, and I want to talk just briefly about that slate recognition that we talk about. Now, we've got a 9-game slate here. We've got 9 games starting at 6 o'clock, right? We've got a 3-game slate at 10 p.m. We've got a 5-game slate at 7:30. Now, as we go into our player pool analysis and really looking over every game and all the teams and the players that's involved, let's look to see if these 5 games are juicy enough to create a lineup or two that we really like and then throw it in the main. Because if the 4 games that are outside of this aren't very great games, and we think that there's a chance that we could see some decent scoring in the 5 games, and people will fall in love with those 9 games and maybe make some plays that we probably wouldn't make, then that is definitely a cause for us to create some lineups in the 5 game and then enter that in the main. That is a strategy that I have employed a lot It has been very good to me. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into a recap of last night's games. We do this just because we need to know where we've been. We need to know where players are coming from if we're going to be able to dictate or predict where they're going to be going in the future. So let's go ahead and jump into a brief recap of last night's games. We're going to start from the earliest game at 3 o'clock just because we want to know what happened. We want to know what happened. We want to be abreast to everything that went on in the DFS world of NBA last night. We're going to start with the first game on today's slate. It was a 3 o'clock game where we saw the Denver Nuggets put up 140 fucking points. Awesome. Excellent game from them. But we're going to start on the Indiana side, man. Let's go and get this pulled up so we can look at it. All right. Because we are going to get into this, the player pricing at some point during the show. All right. Make sure we can see all of that. Right. We're going to start on the Indiana Pacers side, man, where we saw a really, really nice game in the beginning, in the first half from Jeff Teague. I think he was at about 24 points at the half, but did not finish with a good game. This entire Indiana Pacers roster was just something to shake your fingers at, man. It wasn't very good at all, with the exception of TJ Miles. But Jeff Teague played 24 minutes in the blowout, had 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 9 assists while shooting 5 for 7 from the field, 71%. Pretty good game there until we got to the half. Paul George underwhelmed again, and I advised a lot of people to not fuck with Paul George. 31 minutes for him. He had 10 points, 4 boards, and 3 assists, 4 steals, shooting 2 for 12 from the field. That's 16.7%. Made 4 free throws and 2 of 6 from behind the arc. Not a good game there. Thad Young, in his 27 minutes, had 4 and 4 to go with 2 assists and 1 block. Not a good game for him at all. And you see the trend of what's happening. The only guy that really played a decent game was CJ Miles. 20 minutes, he had 20 points to go with 4 rebounds and 1 assist while shooting 7 for 13 from the field. That was 53%. Pretty good game we saw from him. Kevin Seraphin, in his 20 minutes, had 10 and 5 to go with 2 assists and a block. And we saw 14 and 6 assists to go with 3 steals from Aaron Brooks in his 23 minutes. On the Denver side, this is where the stars shine the brightest. Nikola Jokic put up 50 and led all DraftKings scorers on the day with 22 points, 10 boards, 7 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block in 30 minutes. This guy is the real deal. He is. Get him while he's at 7K. Wilson Chandler had a nice game, 21 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, while shooting 8 for 13 from the field, 3 for 3 from the line, and 2 for 5 from behind the arc. Pretty good game there. Gary Harris had 16 and 5 with 6 assists and 1 steal. Pretty nice game from him. And Emmanuel Mudiay didn't do much in the way of scoring, but he had a decent game all around. 9 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block while shooting 3 for 7 from the field. That was a good, decent 42.9%. Danilo Gallinari in his 30 minutes had 18 and 2 to go with 3 assists and shot 7 of 11 from the field. That was 63%. Pretty good game there. Kenneth Faried, who was questionable going into the game, in 16 minutes had 15 and 9 to go with a steal and a block. Pretty good game there at that price point. The next game we're going to talk about is the Brooklyn Nets at home against the New Orleans Pelicans. And we did not see Anthony Davis in this game. Kind of thought that it was going to be that way the entire night. That's why the ownership was so heavily on Terrence Jones. In his 37 minutes, he had 24 and 12 to go with 1 assist and 1 steal. We saw a nice game from Solomon Hill at his price point, played 33 minutes and scored 14 and 10 to go with 3 assists and 2 steals while shooting 50% from the field. Bud Hield, horrible game for you, but horrible. 24 minutes, he had 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist while shooting 2 for 9 from the field. Bad game there. Drew Holiday didn't flake out on you, but he didn't give you that game. He thought he was going to give you at that 6+ K salary. 31 minutes for him, 21 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, and 2 steals while shooting 7 for 15 from the field. Tariq Evans, we talked about him, the Heat check player tonight, off of the bench in 27 minutes, scored 29 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals while getting a block, 10 for 15 from the field. That is 66%, 2 for 4 from the 3-point line, and he got to the line 7 times and made all 7 of his free throw tries on the Brooklyn Nets side of the ball. Not a very good game we saw from a lot of those cats, man. We saw when one guy just completely give us blue balls. Trevor Booker, man, he was on fire in the first half. I think he had about 25 points going into the halftime. He finished with 8 points and 12 boards to go with 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty good game from him, but we did think we were going to see a lot more. Brook Lopez had 20 and 6 to go with 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty decent game there. And Joe Harris, man, in 26 minutes he had 15 and 2 to go with 2 assists. Pretty good game we saw from him. Sean Kilpatrick, 18 and 7 to go with 1 assist and 1 steal in his 26 minutes. And Karis LeVert, 25 minutes, had 10 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. The Knicks game we're going to talk about is my New York Knicks at home against the Chicago Bulls. This was a game that should have been chock full of like revenge narratives. Oh, Noah and Derrick Rose playing against Chicago and Robin Lopez going back to New York and blah blah blah. And the game just wasn't that good of a game. It just wasn't that good of a game. Taj Gibson on the Chicago side had 12 points, fell 1 board shy of that double-double bonus while shooting 4 for 7 from the field. Made 4 or 5 of his threes, pretty decent there. Paul Zipster got the start, and in 34 minutes, he played a lot of minutes. He had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and this goes to show you that they are willing to play anybody to not play Rajon Rondo, because he only got 22 minutes and had 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 8 assists while shooting 2 for 9 from the field. A horrible 22%. Not a great game there. Dougie McBucket still is shit. Still is not good. 16 minutes for Dougie, 2 points, 2 boards, 1 assist. Not a great game there at all. We saw a decent game for Jerry Grant off the bench, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal while shooting 50% from the field. And the Felicio kid, man, 13 and 5. Pretty good with the block. At that price point, you really couldn't beat that. On a short slate, you kind of needed plays like that in order to do well. Robin Lopez, 23 minutes for him. He had 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Dwayne Wade started off very slow, really cold in the beginning, but he did finish to have a fairly decent game. 22 points, 22 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Pretty good game there. Dwayne Wade shot 9 for 20 from the field. Could have had a better game if he would have shot a better percentage. He usually is money going to the basket. We didn't see much of that tonight until the end of the game. Carmelo Anthony on the Knicks side, nice game from Carmelo. He fell 1 board shot at double-double bonus, and anytime we don't see Kristaps Porzingis, we know we're going to get one of those Carmelo Anthony games where he has to do things in the peripheral way. He has to go out and grab some rebounds. He has to assist the ball. He has to play more defense, and that's a good thing for his fantasy scoring as well. 33 minutes for Carmelo, 23 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 steal while shooting 10 of 19 from the field. That was a pretty good shooting performance from him. Lance Thomas did not do much. Joakim Noah grabbed 15 boards, 12 points, 1 assist, and 1 block while shooting 6 for 10 from the field. Pretty good game there. We saw a decent game from Derrick Rose, 17 and 4 to go with 3 assists. But Kyle O'Quinn, man, this dude, is he real? He must be real, because this is the second game in a row he's had such a nice performance. He only played 16 minutes, but he had 12 points and 11 boards to go with 3 assists and 4 blocks. Awesome game for him in that limited amount of minutes, 16 minutes for him. Kuzminskis, he got a ton of run. Played 30 minutes, had 19 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 1 block. Pretty decent game at his price point, I'd say. The next game we're going to talk about is the San Antonio Spurs whipping the shit out of the LA Lakers. It must have been like crazy tonight where guys are just putting up 130 plus points. San Antonio Spurs, man, had an awesome game out. Scored 134 points in this game. But let's start on the Lakers side. We saw Luol Deng bullshit around for 19 minutes. He had 3 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists to go with a steal. Horrible game there. Julius Randle bounced back with a nice one. In 33 minutes, he had 22 points, 6 boards, and 5 assists to go with a steal. Not too much else we saw from the LA Lakers side. Lou Williams chipped in 10. Brandon Ingram had 9, even though he was under those injury concerns about his wrist. And Jordan Clarkson scored 14 to go with 1 rebound and 3 assists. Horrible game we saw from D'Angelo Russell. 9 points, 1 board, 3 assists, 1 steal in his 26 minutes. On the San Antonio side, Kawhi Leonard, man, 31 points in 26 minutes, had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. And we're going to have these games from Kawhi. Where he just, takes on the scoring load and just goes out and just shows that he's the best player on the floor. And that's what we saw tonight. LaMarcus Aldridge, 13 and 4, very underwhelming. in his 23 minutes. Paul Gasol, man, excellent play. How did I miss that play tonight? He fell one board shy of that double-double bonus, but those 6 assists to go with those 9 rebounds and 22 points really made it look good. Also had a block in the game and shot 100% from the field, going 9 for 9. Pretty good game there. Danny Green had 3 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists to go with the block in his 24 minutes, excuse me. And Tony Parker, 13 and 2 to go with 6 assists. Pretty decent game at his price point. Dedmon off of the bench in his 20 minutes had 6 points and 12 boards to go with 2 assists, 1 steal. Pretty decent game at that price point there being so low. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Phoenix Suns. This is probably the most competitive game on the evening. The Phoenix Suns at home against the Dallas Mavericks. Starting on the Dallas side, we saw a nice game from Darren Williams, man. 12 assists, 23 points, 2 rebounds. Pretty decent game. 9 for 15 from the field. Shot 60%. We'll always take that when it comes to our point guard play. Dirk Nowitzki had 18 and 6 to go with 1 assist and 1 block. Harrison Barnes, 22 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block in his 36 minutes while shooting 10 for 17 from the field. That is 58%. Very nice shooting percentage there. And Wesley Matthews had 18 and 5 assists to go with a steal and a block while shooting 50% from the field. And Dwight Powell in his 15 minutes had 10 and 5 to go with 2 steals and 2 blocks. Pretty good game there. On the Phoenix side, man, not too much we saw from Eric Bledsoe, man. 11 and 6 rebounds to go with 5 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. He only took 4 shots in the game and played 28 minutes. That's not like him at all. Horrible game there from Eric Bledsoe. Tyson Chandler had 14 and 19 to go with the block. Pretty good game there. We saw Marcus Chris for 23 minutes. He had 13 and 3. And TJ Warren, man, continues to just be so bad with that much potential. A guy with that much potential is just not playing well. In 27 minutes, he had 8 points, 2 boards, and 3 assists while shooting 4 for 11 from the field. That is a shitty 36%. Not what we need from a guy that is going to be a starter consistently on this Phoenix team. The next game we're going to talk about, and the last game on the slate, is the Golden State Warriors at home against the Detroit Pistons. One of the lineups I had did have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in it. He went out early in the first quarter with a shoulder injury. It says he's unlikely to play tomorrow. We already know that off the top. But, man, that really did hit that one lineup. I still did cash. But Marcus Morris, in 34 minutes, had 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. He was probably the biggest beneficiary to not having a full run from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Tobias Harris, 18 and 4 to go with 3 steals. Pretty good game there. Andre Drummond did double-double, but it was a small one, 12 points, 10 boards to go with 2 steals and 2 blocks. And this game turned into a blowout late in the game where our snowflake of the night, Reggie Jackson, in his 24 minutes had 14 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists to go with the steal. Stanley Johnson did see an increase in minutes due to the fact that we didn't see Kentavious Caldwell-Pope after that first quarter. He had 8 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists to go with a block. And he was a really good position to be a nice value play, but he just didn't seize the moment. He did play 37 minutes, but he led the team in minutes, actually, but just did not turn it into fantasy gold the way we thought we would have seen. Boban Marjanovic, pretty nice game from him. In 16 minutes, he had 13 and 11 to go with 2 assists. Pretty good game we saw from him. On the Golden State side of the ball, Kevin Durant, man, in these blowouts, we just don't see what we need to see from Kevin Durant. And that's disappointing because such an awesome talent and a guy that is a tremendous fantasy scorer just doesn't see the full amount of run to actually, we don't see him deep into the fourth quarter. He did play 31 minutes. He had 25 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 1 steal. Saw a nice game from Draymond Green. He scored 2 points, 9 rebounds, 13 assists, and 2 blocks. Pretty decent game from Jaja Pachulia at his price point. In his 24 minutes, he had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Klay Thompson chipped in 23 points to go with 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. And Steph Curry, in his 29 minutes, had 24 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 steals. Pretty decent game there. We also saw 15 minutes of Ian Clark. He had 14 and 2 to go with 1 assist and 2 steals. Now that we have recapped last night's games, let's go ahead and jump into the player pricing pool for tomorrow's 9-game slate. A strong drink for Big Frank. Yeah, as we can see, we've got a Russell Westbrook slate tomorrow. 12.7 is a big price on Russell Westbrook going against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves at home. We probably won't see Zach LaVine. I think Russell Westbrook is rosterable at this price point on a 9-game slate. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of value open up during the day that's going to allow you to justify, paying that much for Russell Westbrook. I may have him in a lineup or two, but I will not. He's not going to be like a member of my core team. We've got James Harden here at 11.4K. Now, this is a 27th ranked DVP against the shooting guard position, but we know James Harden plays a lot of point. He's going to see Mike Conley defensively, and I really think that this is a tougher matchup than the DVP says for James Harden. Even though it's James Harden and he's basically matchup proof, I don't think that, a game like this, I don't think I'm going to have too much Harden. I'm going to have just as much Harden as Westbrook. Maybe both have a lineup with one of each. And not really go too hard on that. Next, we got DeMarcus Cousins at 10.3 in a very winnable matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, we need to see if somebody from Cleveland is sitting before we can roster him safely. If we have people sitting, we knew that Kevin Love suffered, I believe, an ankle or high knee injury or a high ankle injury in the last game out. He did come back and play some, but they got beat. They got blown out the last game. So I think Cleveland's going to come out really wanting to play well. So that will kind of have me hesitant to roster DeMarcus Cousins. Next, we've got Giannis Antetokounmpo going up against the Miami Heat. 10.1K is the price tag. That is too rich for me in a matchup in a slow pace against a slow pace team like the Miami Heat. A bad slow pace team. This team isn't like good slow pace like Utah, where you might just fuck around and see a lot of scoring at some point. This is a bad slow pace team, so I don't think I'm going to be fucking with Giannis tomorrow. LeBron James, if you think the game doesn't blow out, he's definitely in play at 9.7K. Anytime you can get LeBron James under 10K, I think he deserves consideration. Carl Anthony Towns, I like that matchup at 9.4, going up against Steven Adams and or Cantor, but I don't think we have to go there. Now, the next play, check this out, Isaiah Thomas. This is one of the worst teams in the league against. Now, this game's going to have a lot of good shit. This is one of the worst teams in the league against the point guard position, talking about the Atlanta Hawks. Isaiah Thomas is firmly in play for me. DeMar DeRozan at 8.7 is firmly in play for me against the Brooklyn Nets at home. This game's probably going to blow up. Kyle Lowry is firmly in play for me at 8.5. I like him. Hassan Whiteside, I think he got his mojo back. I think he got his swag back. We can look to Hassan Whiteside. I love Kemba against the Philadelphia 76ers. To me, this is damn near a home game because they're so bad. I like Kemba tomorrow. Damian Lillard is not a play that I think I'm going to be rolling with tomorrow. Even though the price is down on some, I just haven't seen what I need to see from Dame to roster him above 8K with complete and total confidence. Joel Embiid may sit tomorrow. We know he did play last time out. It's not a back-to-back, so he might play. He might sit. We need to stay in tune and find out what's going on with that. Kevin Love, if he plays and he's healthy and he's fine, he would be the play for me on the Cleveland side in this game because I think he would see the most run in a blowout. So I do like Kevin Love if he is fine and healthy and plays tomorrow. CJ McCollum would be a play that I would like more than his teammate Damian Lillard. I like him tomorrow at 7.9. Kyrie, he's playable, but I think I'm going to pass on him. Paul Millsap is a play that I really like against the Boston rebounding front court. We always want to attack Boston rebounding the basketball. That is a sweatshop law. That's a sweatshop law. And there's two ways to do it. Paul Millsap or Dwight Howard, 7.4. Now, Dwight Howard can be a decent player in this game, but I would go Paul Millsap for the simple fact that he does more in the way of scoring, assisting the ball, just being an overall all-around better player, in my opinion, than Dwight Howard is at this point in their career. So I do like Paul Millsap. Jabari Parker at 7.3K, even though this is the 4th-ranked DVP against small forwards, somebody's got to get off. And I think Giannis can have a decent game, and with that goes Jabari Parker. Mike Conley, yes, certainly in play for me. If they're gonna put the smaller guy on him, and Patrick Beverley, who's been kind of hobbled and hasn't been playing very well lately, I like Mike Conley tomorrow. Andre Drummond, at 7K. I do not want to test Rudy Gobert. I have no desire to do that. Rudy Gobert is one of the best defending centers in the league against the position. They're fourth ranked in the league against that. Why would I want to test that? I'm cool. I'm not going to do it. Gordon Hayward is in play for me at 7K. I like him tomorrow. Marc Gasol is definitely in play at 6.9 to attack the Houston front court. Nicholas Batum is questionable. Probably will not play tomorrow, so we need to check on that. If he doesn't play, that's the usage goes up on Kemba. If he doesn't play, I like him. Nikolai Vucevic at 6.9 is not a play that I'm very interested in. Al Horford 6.8 is not a play I'm very interested in. Dennis Schroeder, yes, he's in play, and his price still is creeping up slowly, but it hasn't caught up to the production he's been having. We're talking about 42 points last time out. So Dennis Schroeder is definitely a play to watch tomorrow. Andrew Wiggins, if we don't see Zach LaVine tomorrow, yes, Andrew Wiggins definitely. Corey Dragic against Milwaukee Bucks, I like him at 6.7. Brook Lopez is in play against the Toronto Raptors at 6.6. Rudy Gobert, yes, 6.5. I like Rudy. Rudy Gobert, I like Rudy. Rudy Gay, 6.4. No for me. Zach LaVine may be hurt tomorrow. The price didn't go down enough on Reggie Jackson, the snowflake player of last night's games, for me to roster him at 6.4. The price is up some on Marcus Smart, and we might see Avery Bradley tomorrow. So if Avery Bradley plays, I do like him tomorrow if we do see him back. Serge Ibaka at 6.2, he is questionable. This is a very plus matchup for him, but we need to see him shed that questionable tag, and we need to know if he's going to be playing or not. Rick Rubio at 6.1 is in play for me. I like that price point. Avery Bradley, it says he's out, but I've seen reports that say he's questionable and might play tomorrow, so we need to check up on that. George Hill at 6K is not in play for me. Tobias Harris is a no for me. Vic Oladipo is a no for me. Jonas Valanciunas, yes, I like Jonas Valanciunas because we know that Brook Lopez is one of the worst rebounding centers in the league. We can see another nice game from Jonas at under 6K. I like him. Ersan Ilyasova is a play I like at 5.9. I did not like Greg Monroe, even though this is the 28th DVP against the center position. I just don't like Greg Monroe tomorrow. Evan Fournier at 5.8 is not a play that I particularly like. Robert Covington, yes, at 5.8. We can trust him. Steven Adams, yes, at 5.7. Zebo, it says they're the second-ranked team against the power forward position, but I like Zebo tomorrow at 5.7K. I think that's a good play. James Johnson is in play at 5.7. Aaron Gordon, he's been playing very well lately, and I think because of that, I think that's something that he's trending up in the right direction. We can definitely look to Aaron Gordon tomorrow. Malcolm Brogdon is a no for me. Jeremy Lamb will probably be out tomorrow. That makes Marco Bellinelli a solid pump play at that shooting guard position. Mason Plumlee, yes, I like him tomorrow. 5.6, the price is down some. We can definitely roster Mason Plumlee tomorrow. Gorgie Jang is a player I really like at 5.6. Enes Kanter, yes. Eric Gordon probably will play tomorrow. If he does, I don't like him very much. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, we probably won't see him tomorrow. We might see Stanley Johnson start for him. If we do, I like him as a cheap play. Trevor Booker, 5.4. He's in play. Jay Crowder is a no for me. Tyler Johnson, no. Elfrid Payton, 24th ranked against point guards. No, I don't like Elfrid Payton tomorrow. Ryan Anderson is not in play for me. Al-Farouq Aminu, yes. TJ McConnell, this 5th ranked DVP against the point guard position, but the team defense of the Charlotte Hornets changes when any of their key players are not playing. So we're going to see Cody Zeller tomorrow, but we may not see Nick Batum. And if that's the case, then I do like TJ McConnell at that 5.3K salary. Trevor Ariza is a no for me. Patrick Beverly is a no for me. Jeremy Lin is probably going to be out again. MKG, I like him at 5K. I think we can look to him tomorrow. Josh Richardson's probably going to be out. Bojan, no. Montrez, no. Marvin Williams, yes. I like Marvin Williams at 4.9K. Very, very nice, easy way to get you a quick 6x value. I think tomorrow's going to be Marvin Williams. Derek Favors is a no for me. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a no for me. Nerlens Noel, yes. We can attack Charlotte, rebounding the basketball. I like him at 4.8. That's a big discount from Joel Embiid, who I think can give us similar production. Tristan Thompson, yes, at 4.7K. Marcus Morris is a no for me. Cody Zeller. If we don't see Embiid, yeah. If Embiid plays, I don't like Cody Zeller. Tony Allen is in play for me. He's probably going to be guarding James Harden. So that means he's going to get a ton of defensive usage. He's going to be on the court for a long time. This guy can play 40 minutes. So I do like Tony Allen tomorrow. DeMar Carroll, the price is still down on him against a very bad Brooklyn Nets team at home. Give me some DeMar Carroll tomorrow. Allen Crabbe has been shooting very hot lately. I think he continues that against the Orlando Magic at 4.5K, and he's going to see some run with the scrub unit if the game does blow out. So I do like Allen Crabbe. Sean Kilpatrick is in play, but not very much so for me tomorrow against the Toronto Raptors. Dion Waiters is a no. Mo Harkless, yes, 4.4. The price is still down on Rodney Hood. If you don't see Kentavious Caldwell-Pope tomorrow, I think you can go back to the well and look at Rodney Hood at 4.4K at home against the Detroit Pistons. Darren Collison is a yes for me. The price is low on him. He's going to see a Kyrie Irving defense, which is no defense at all. I think we can look to Darren Collison tomorrow. John Lure, he may be in. We need to check back on that. Evan Turner is a yes for me. Jahlil Okafor has played himself right out of the rotation, so I do not like him tomorrow. Spencer Hawes is a viable play. Is a very viable play at 4.3K. We like Spencer Hawes tomorrow. JaMychal Green is a no. Frank Kaminsky, yes, at 4.1. The problem is choosing which one of those guys is going to have the better game. If you get that right, you can definitely make some headway in your tournaments. Babos Kalosha at 4.1. If we don't see Avery Bradley, he is in play for me. Dario Saric, yes, at 4.1. Ty Lawson is in play at 4.1. Kelly Olynyk, I always like Kelly Olynyk, but against this Atlanta front court, he does get a lot of run time with the starting guys. I don't think I like Kelly Olynyk tomorrow. Shabazz Muhammad at 4.1 is in play, especially if we don't see Zach LaVine. This gentleman is dead to me. Kent Bazemore is dead to me still. Marco Bellinelli is in play at 4K if we don't see Nick Batum and dang, I forgot the dude's name. Andre Roberson, 4K, no. Kyle Korver, 4K, no. Michael Beasley, don't chase what happened last time, no. Jeremy Lamb. If you don't see Jeremy Lamb, Marco Bellinelli is in play. Garrett Temple, 3.9. That's a fair price for a punt play at the shooting guard position. Amir Johnson is questionable. He may not play tomorrow. Willie Reed, questionable. Bismack, no. Terrence Ross is in play at 3.8 if you think the game blows out. Sauce, 3.8 is in play for me if you think, that Philadelphia can keep the game close. If he's starting, I kind of like him if he's starting. Shelvin Mack, 3.8 is a no for me. Dellavedova is a no. Matt Barnes is a no. Andrew Harrison is a no for me. DJ Augustine is a no. Rashawn Holmes is a no for me. Sergio, the price is down on him at 3.6, but I still don't like him. Vince Carter is in play at 3.6 as a very low-cost punt play at the small forward position. Spencer Dinwiddie at 3.6 is in play as a punt play. Gerald Green, yes, at 3.6. He's in play as a punt play. Norman Powell is a no for me unless he starts. Gerald Henderson, 3.5. If he was starting, I would like him, but we might see Nick Stauskas start again, so I don't like Gerald Henderson. Joe Ingles, no. Let's go ahead and find that 3K. That's 3K guy. Let's find that men's salary cap. Joe Harris is in play at 3K. Joe Johnson is in play at 3K, definitely. Terry Rozier. If we still see all of those guys out, the Jaylen Brown is out, and Avery Bradley is out, and Amir Johnson doesn't play. There's so many guys taken out of the rotation. You can definitely look to Terry Rozier at 3K to help you pay up to your Harden or to your Westbrook, or if you want to play both of them. Because I'm sure somebody's going to do that, play Harden and Westbrook. Mirza at 3K, somebody you can look to play down so you can pay up to. Ed Davis is somebody who I like at 3K. He's been seeing a lot of run in games, especially when we see Mason Plumlee getting that early foul trouble. Chris Dunn, he got the start last time. May do it again if he does. I like him at 3K. Not too much else to look at here. Let's go ahead and jump into the point total preview for tomorrow's 9-game slate. We're going to start in Philadelphia, where the Charlotte Hornets are coming to town. Pull that up. Let's try. I'll put it on this laptop. This laptop runs a little better than that one. And where we go to OddsShark to get those point totals. They may change, the lines may move sometimes throughout the day. It happens from time to time. But you can always hit me up on Twitter, or follow your fantasy labs, or your Roto World, Roto Grounders, things like that that kind of give you those informations as they come up. But jumping in, let's go ahead and start with the Charlotte Hornets going to Philadelphia. This is a 209.5 point total, with the Philadelphia 76ers receiving 4.5 points from the Charlotte Hornets. So the Hornets are the road favorite. Even without Nick Batum, or Nick Batum being questionable, they are still the road favorite. That goes to show you how bad they think this Philadelphia team is. Now, if we don't see Joel Embiid, there's a lot of value to open up in this game. We're talking about Ersan Ilyasova. We're talking about Robert Covington. We're talking about Nerlens Noel, who I kind of like either way. So this can be a really nice game, maybe a couple one-off guys to start with to get you rolling into the entirety of the slate. On the Charlotte side, Kemba is the player that I really like. I think I'm going to have a fair share of Kemba in my lineups tomorrow. Also, Marvin Williams is an intriguing play for me. At that 4.9K price tag, it doesn't take him much, especially being short-handed without Nick Batum. It doesn't take him much to hit value in that situation. I do like Marvin Williams, and he also had a really good game out the last time they played against the Houston Rockets. The next game we're going to talk about, Toronto Raptors at home. This is one of the highest point totals on the slate against the Brooklyn Nets. This is a 221.5 point total, with the Brooklyn Nets getting 15 points. Now, the Toronto Raptors are the home favorite at the Air Canada Center. Big favorite, 15 points. Now, that kind of, that's enough to scare you off of this game. Or it can be enough to tell you to fire up Lowry and DeRozan. I think that is a nice way to go tonight. I just do. Do I like stuff on the Brooklyn side? If I could pin down who's going to be, the guys getting the most run in a blowout, yeah. But I think Sean Kilpatrick is also would be a nice play from this game. And I think we can definitely look to, guys like Karis LeVert to give us that scrub love, to pay up to James Harden, to pay up to, Giannis if you like, pay up to Russell Westbrook. So there is a lot to like in the way of scrub love on the Brooklyn side. Do I want Brook Lopez? No, I don't have to do that. That's not a mistake that I have to make because the ownership on him is going to be low anyway, and he's probably not going to go the fuck off. I don't think he's going to go off. And once they get blown out, they love to take him out anyway because he's like the best player on that team in their opinion. So the next game I'm going to talk about is the Boston Celtics going to Atlanta to take on the Hawks. This is a 212.5 point total, which is pretty nice. It's a pretty nice point total. But the spread is what really attracts me to this game. It's a 2.5 point spread, with the Atlanta Hawks being the favorite, giving up those 2.5 points to the Boston Celtics. Fire up Isaiah and just stop. Just play Isaiah tomorrow. I like Isaiah tomorrow against Schroeder defense. He's gonna go nuts, especially if we don't see Avery Bradley. I like him tomorrow. I think we can definitely look to attack the Boston front court when it comes to rebounding. Now, you got two ways to do that. We talked about it just a few minutes ago. You can go Dwight Howard, or you can go Paul Millsap, or you can go super cheap and you can go Thabo Sefolosha or somebody like that, a guy who's a pretty good defensive player as well as a rebounder, but he just won't give you a lot of scoring. In my estimation, I've got to go with Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap is probably going to be one of my favorite plays on the slate at the power forward position. So he's somebody we can definitely look forward to doing some damage against the Boston front court tomorrow. Jay Crowder, not really in play for me. Don't really think I have an interest in him very much. On the Boston side, the only guy that I really, really like, due to what we tout in the sweatshop as law, is going to be Isaiah Thomas, because you can attack Atlanta on the perimeter, definitely, and you can attack Boston in the front court. So there's two laws in this game that we can definitely exploit. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Memphis Grizzlies going to Houston to take on the Rockets. It's a 214.5 point total, with the Memphis Grizzlies being the road dog, man. The Houston Rockets are giving up 7 points, and I don't know if I can trust that. Houston lost the last game out. They were on a really nice, I think, a 9-game winning streak. But this team can be beat, and they can be beat on the perimeter. Mike Conley is a very good point guard. We've also got a really nice center matchup in this game. Well, excuse me, it's not even a center matchup. It's just he's better than them. Marcus Hall is better than them. Then you got Zebo coming off the bench, who I kind of like too, and Tony Allen. This could be like a small, cheap, Memphis team stack in a higher point total because we know the pace of the game is generally dictated by the best player on the floor, and that, without a doubt, is going to be James Harden tomorrow, who I kind of like James Harden. I think this is a decent matchup for him because what he can do. See, if your goal is to get by Mike Conley, he makes it hard for you. But if you can shoot that 30-foot jumper the way Harden does, just on the pull up, then you can definitely make it hard for them to stop you from scoring. So I do like James Harden tomorrow. He's about all I really like on the Houston side. Maybe off of the bench, maybe a little Decker off of the bench, or that's dumpster diving. I like Harden. Next game we're gonna talk about Miami Heat going to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. This is a 204.5 point total, with the Milwaukee Bucks giving up 7 points to the Miami Heat. Now, on the outset, I'm not too keen on rostering Giannis in a game like this because we know the pace is going to be fairly slow, and a lot of things have to break his way to get 66 DraftKings points, which is what we need for him to make value. And on a 9-game slate, I just think that there's so many other guys who could give us, take us to that point threshold of 6x. Especially the high dollar guys. If you're gonna pay up 10.1 for Giannis, you might as well just go ahead and buy Harden or Westbrook. Just do it. I don't think he has a game that he outplays those guys on this slate. I just really don't see that. Not against the Miami Heat. Milwaukee still probably wins the game, but if I wanted a piece of this game and I had to have it, I would go to Jabari Parker before I would go to Giannis Antetokounmpo, just because the price difference is drastic. It's a drastic price difference. Now, can we go back on the Miami side and look to Hassan Whiteside? Yes, I think we can. I really think we can. I think he's just a much better post presence than anything that the Milwaukee Bucks have on their bench. Even though we've been seeing a couple hot games for not Colin Quinn, excuse me, for Greg Monroe, I don't think that matters a lot. Not going up against Whiteside. He had a really good game out. Looks pretty healthy, ready to go. I like Whiteside tomorrow. Also, Goran Dragic will be a decent play in this game too. We got to look at James Johnson. I kind of like him some. The people I'm not fucking with Dion Waiters. If Josh Richardson does play, I'm not fucking with him. It's just too much to sort through on the Miami side. Next game I'm gonna talk about is probably one of my favorite games on the slate. And this game does not have a point total yet for it. It is the Oklahoma City Thunder traveling to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns is not going to be a heavily owned play tomorrow. Simply because we know what the Oklahoma City Thunder can do against bigs. They have really good games against bigs, and I don't think. Let's check out stat views because I want to see what has been going on with Karl Anthony Towns versus the Thunder. Let's see what he looks like. Because he's a home road split kind of guy too. He plays much better at home. That's something that I've noticed keeping up with his game logs and watching him play the game. Of course, on League Pass, I get to watch basically any game that I like to watch. So let's go ahead and hit up Karl Anthony Towns on Stat Views. See what we come up with. All right. Now, while we're getting that together, now if we're talking about the Minnesota side of the ball, of course, I really think that you can definitely go. We can definitely go Wiggins. Wiggins is a player I really like, especially if we're not going to see Zach LaVine. Wiggins is a really nice play if we don't see Zach LaVine. He was the last time out, and the hardest thing for me is to gauge when both of them are on the court which one's going to play well. I rarely get that right, and this just takes that guesswork from me. Just go ahead and plug Wiggins in. He's going to see the most usage out of all of the guys on the court. He's going to be a very good play if we don't see Zach LaVine. Ricky Rubio is somebody who I think Zach LaVine kind of stifles them offensively because there was no. There's definitely a correlation between the game that Ricky Rubio had last time out and the fact that Zach LaVine was not playing. The offense seemed to move more freely. There was nobody holding it up, not being kind of timid and unsure what they were going to do at the top of the key, the way we see Zach LaVine do sometimes. So it leads me to kind of like Ricky Rubio too. And against Oklahoma City Thunder, we know that Russell Westbrook is not a great defender. He's a guy who exerts all of his energy on the offensive side, thus allowing teams to kind of get off, point guards to kind of get off on him on the defensive side of the ball. So I think Ricky Rubio can be a very decent play, especially at that price point on the Oklahoma City side. You've got to like Adams and Cantor, man. They're gonna be able to have decent games at their price point. If I had to choose one, I would go Cantor. He's going to see the most minutes against the Minnesota second team, and I kind of like that. Of course, Westbrook is in play. Westbrook is definitely in play in this game. There's no need. There's no reason for me to be like, oh no, you can't roster Russell Westbrook. Sometimes I feel that way, but we've got a player on the slate that's priced up a little higher than him, and I think that kind of helps helps to get him to that six. I mean, excuse me. They got a player priced slightly lower than him in a what I think is in a worse matchup. So I think a lot of people are going to go Harden more than they would go Westbrook. That's just my opinion. Uh, so we can definitely look at him. And we've seen Oladipo have a pretty good game out. We know he's not going to be matched up against Zach LaVine, who's a fairly decent defender. So I think we can look at Oladipo some. Of course, we talked about Adams and Cantor. So the next game we're going to talk about is the Orlando Magic going to Portland to take on the Trailblazers. They're at the Moda Center. Normally, I'm saying, oh yes, I love Dame at the Moda Center, but you know who is really good at the Moda Center? It turns out to be C.J. McCollum. And if he's going to be seeing Evan Fournier, that is like all the reason in the world to go ahead and lock him in a few rosters. Yeah, lock CJ McCollum in a few rosters. The price is still a little high on him, but I think they could still be a nice game. Now Orlando matched up pretty well against the LA Clippers the other night, so this game doesn't have to blow out. This game does not have to blow out. There's no point total for this game released yet, but this game does not have to blow out. And I like Mason Plumlee. The price tag on him is about 5.6K. That's fairly low for him. Farouk Amino is going to be decent play. The savvy veteran going up against maybe Aaron Gordon. We may not see Serge Ibaka, so that's something else to look at too. I do not like Elfrid Payton. I do not like DJ Augustine. I don't like any of the point guards that much in this game, period. CJ McCollum would be my play on the perimeter that I would go with. The next game we're going to talk about is the Cleveland Cavaliers going to Sacramento to take on the Kings. Now, this game it's kind of throwing me for a loop because it's a 211 point total, but the Cleveland Cavaliers are only giving up 6.5 points to the Sacramento Kings, and I think this game blows out. I just don't think that we're going to see a full allotment of minutes from LeBron James to justify that price point and hit them with that roster spot. I just don't think we're going to see it. If there was anywhere I would go on the Cleveland side, it would either be Tristan Thompson or Kevin Love. As long as we find out that Kevin Love's injury situation is fine and he is good to go. So okay, trying to pull this up. Trying to get this together for you. On the Sacramento side, we know we can attack. We can attack definitely Kyrie Irving on the perimeter with the point guard position. That makes way for a very cheap point guard play in either Ty Lawson or Darren Collison. Darren Collison has been playing pretty good lately. I think we can go that route. Rudy Gay is not somebody who I think I'm going to be rostering tomorrow, going up against that LeBron James defense. Boogie is Boogie. He's going to do what Boogie does. Does he have a Boogie night? I'm not so sure. I'm just not so sure. And because of the blowout factor that I think is involved in this game, I won't have very many shares of Boogie. It is a late game, so the ownership is going to be down on him already. So you can definitely use that if you wanted to justify rostering Boogie at that price point. Um, the next game we're going to talk about, and the last game on the slate is going to be the Detroit Pistons and the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz are at home. This is the lowest point total on the slate. Two of the slowest pace teams in the league, in the Detroit Pistons and the Utah Jazz. Pretty good point guard defense for both teams, and that's where the offense usually starts. So I've got to take I've got to take a fade stance on this game for the most part. The only position that I think is going to be able to yield us a decent amount of fantasy points is going to be the center position, not on the Detroit side, but on the Utah side. If I had to go anywhere, I would go Rudy Gobert. Now, don't get me wrong, Gordon Hayward does deserve consideration because he can shoot that long ball, and that kind of alleviates any any stifling of the flow of the offense. He can shoot the ball, so we can definitely look to him. But if we're gonna make that play, because Gordon Hayward's not a great defender, if we're gonna make that play, we might as well go to Rodney Hood for the cheap, because he can do the same thing. He's a pretty decent shooter too, but he's streaky. When he's on, he's on. He had a pretty good game out last time. The confidence should be up. I would go Gobert and Rodney Hood if I was going to roster anybody on the Utah side. Detroit side, uh, I'm just strictly looking for value, seeing who's starting for Kentavious Caldwell Pope, and plugging him in and see if we can get that fair amount of minutes. And minutes sometimes equals fantasy production. So Reggie Jackson is not in play for me against George Hill. George Hill is not really in play for me against Reggie Jackson. I don't like Marcus Morris very much in this game. I think he is playable, but I don't like him very much in this game. Gordon Hayward's not a great defender. We can play him, but there's other spots that I'm going to be going to tomorrow at similar price points that I think can yield higher dividends in the way of fantasy scoring. And Tobias Harris is not a play that I really like. If the whole John Lure starting and Tobias Harris coming over the bench thing was still a thing, then I would like Tobias Harris. But he's going to be back with the starting rotation, especially since we're not going to see Kentavious Caldwell Pope. So I don't think I'm going to be going that direction too. So this is a game that I probably will not have that much exposure to. Now, this has been your DFS Jerusalem. And you can follow me on Twitter, of course, at DFS Jerusalem. Uh, love all the support that we've been getting here in the DFS Sweatshop. It has been amazing so far, and I thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. Shout out to all the big winners tonight. A lot of cats. Jaws, man, I did not forget about you, Jaws. You did the damn thing in your tournaments too. Good looking out there. And for the shout out on Twitter, I definitely appreciate that. And much love to the cats over there at the Sports World, man. Kyle and George. When we first started this thing, we were both in the fledgling stages of them doing their thing and us doing ours. And I just wanna put that out there that these are some solid cats, guys who I fuck with, man. And shout out to everything that they're doing over there at Sports World. I know some great stuff. If you're a FanDuel guy, you can definitely go over there and they'll lead you, steer you in the right direction. As you know, I am primarily a DraftKings guy, and as I sat down or on the Hangouts and we communicated with the DFS Sweatshop tech team, we've decided that we are going to be strictly in our content targeting the DraftKings players. Now, if you want to hit me up on a personal at the DFS Sweatshop Gmail, that's dfssweatshop at gmail.com, and you have questions about FanDuel, because I do play FanDuel too, you are more than welcome to do so. But the synergy is going to be at DraftKings. So this has been your DFS Jerusalem again. If you want to support the show, there are a myriad of ways you can do so. I'm going to start with the best way. Thank you for supporting the show, giving me your likes and your views. I definitely appreciate that. We are up to almost 3,400 subscribers. Remember, we were at 15. Thank you for what you're doing. You can also hit my personal PayPal at simmonsmaurice95@gmail.com if you'd like to support the show. We need some more shirts to be sold so that we can get that order shipped. Really nice gilded cotton, 100% gilded cotton, DFS sweatshop logos. Really nice, beautiful stuff. If you are a regular member of the 300 Club or you want to be, go ahead and cop you some sweatshop swag. Also, you can be a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop. All you got to do is go to the website www.dfssweatshop.com. Go ahead and register, log in. Upon your paid subscription, you'll be receiving our daily cheat sheets, our Core 4 roster building strategy. You get a look at my Core 4 plays so that you can know that I'm playing the guys I'm talking about. And man, the shit the tech team is coming out with, you better get in now. You better get in now. I'm just going to leave it right there. Don't smell your fingers. Don't put them up. Don't smell your fingers. What you better do is keep it 300.